So now go, let's configure FSlogix profile. Okay, so now I'm going to my, this is very important guys, because this is the one place where you're going to work all the day. Okay, so on my VM, sorry, on my OU, I'm going to create, so on my Active Directory, I'm going to create a OU called demo hyphen FSlogix hyphen test. Okay, so on this OU, I'm going to apply a group policy for the FSlogix. Please stay, just focus on this. Okay, I'm going to open a group policy. Before I open a group policy, I wanted to tell you something over here. So you need to download FSlogix setup, okay, from the Microsoft portal. So if you go to Microsoft portal, they have a link to download. So once you download and extract, right, so you have these two files, ADML and ADMX. So you need to copy this to the policy definition, okay, or you can copy to your sysvol also. So in this is a lab, I'm going to copy over here. So as you can see, I already copied these files. Okay, so if I go to my FSlogix, so you can see FSlogix ADMX. Similarly, the ADML you have to copy over here. This is same as like you're copying your Citrix, GPO ADMX and ADML, right? So you have to copy over here. Okay, so once this is done, then you need to open your group policy. Yeah, here in the group policy, we need to go to the OU. So where is my OU here? Refresh. Okay, this is my OU, and I'll right click on this OU and I'll click on create FSlogix demo test GPO. Okay, then I will edit this. I'll maximize this. Go to policies, admin template, FSlogix, because if you do not load that ADMX and ADML, right, you won't see this option. Okay, so now let's go to profile container, and I'm going to configure only basic things, not to confuse much. Okay, so you can review further and you can do accordingly. So very simple thing, not like critical as our UPM, etc. Only two things you have to do here. Just enable this, click OK, go to your file and just make sure where is your file. So this is your file, right? Click on copy, VHD location, click on enable, enter the path over here, click on apply, click on OK. That's it. This settings will work more than like this. This settings is more than sufficient to make it work. But if you wanted to apply some more conditions, you can put size in MB. By default, it will be 30 GB. If you want to give 10 GB, 5 GB, you can mention it. So since this is a lab, I am going to keep it 30 GB. Okay. So this is purely, don't ask me the recommendation. This is purely on your user. So you should study your users, and based on that you have to design. Okay, there is no such recommendation. If you ask me, I will tell you keep it 30 GB itself. Okay, since it is Azure file, and you know you don't have any issue with the storage, only billing, that is a separate story. But again, it's up to you. Then we have something called delete local profile when FSlogix profile should be applied. So this is very important. I highly recommend you enable this, because when there is a local profile available, right, FSlogix won't load. Okay, it will give you error. So if you select this option, it will delete the local profile and then it will try to log in. So always make sure that you enable this one. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, then go to advanced. No, not advanced. Go to container and directory naming. Select disk type as VHDX. By default, it will be VHD. So VHDX is an advanced version of your VHD. It will have more it's a more features. Okay, so not more features, I can say. It is an advanced version of your VHD. So always use the latest one. So these settings are more than enough to begin with. Okay, so our profile container is ready, and now let's go to the office container. This is where most of the people, you have the doubt, right? Okay, so first, as I told you, just enable it. Okay, so then the VHD location, where is the VHD location? Okay, VHD location, I'm going to give the same location, but do not do this. You have to create a separate share for Office 365. I will tell you why, okay, in the later part. For now, just to simplify, I'm going to keep it in the same location. Okay, now VHD location is configured and we enabled. Coming to the very beautiful part, include Teams data in container. If you enable this, then only it will put the content, Teams data in the container. Include OneDrive, include Outlook, and so many Office 365 options you can see over here. So based on your requirement, enable that so that it will be on that container. Okay, so again, so you have to review and you have to include as per your customer requirement. So it is purely on the customer requirement. So if you ask me what is the recommendation, try to put as much as Office 365 apps in the container rather than in the profile container. Okay, so for now, for the demo, I'm just keeping Teams and I'm just keeping enabled and then VH location. So now we have the GPU ready. Now let's go to our computer. As you can see, we do not have any VMs, right? We need to have some VMs. So if I go to my Azure portal, if I go to my Azure Virtual Desktop, I have some VMs here. If I go to host pool, I have two VMs. I will move the first VM to this container. Okay. So let's go to my now it is in this overview. So I'll go to this and I'll move to my FSlogix test view. Okay. So now this is completed. Now let's do a reboot of this VM so that it will get that uh, GPU. Okay, the VM is already in a stop state, so I'm going to start this. And yeah, before that we need to make sure that you have given permission on the storage, that is SMB contributor, and you have given the permission in the NTFS also. Okay, we already added domain users, that will cover over there. And then finally on the Azure Virtual Desktop, you have given the permissions to access the VDA. So this is out of the scope, but already given permission to my FS test 3, that is our end user. Okay, so now let's see my VM is up or not. So once it is up, we'll try to log in and we will see the behavior. Okay, you may have a questions how to install and how to configure, right? So we'll do that. Yeah, so this is your VM. I'll take the IP address. I'll go to this VM and I'll try to take MSTSC. So I have taken the MSTFC of one of the VMs on which we are going to test this FSlogix. I logged in with administrator credential. So normally when you log in with admin, it won't apply the FSlogix profile. So only when you use normal normal credential, it will apply the necessary permissions. Sorry, necessary FSlogix settings. So if I go to my installed application on this VM, appwiz.cpl. I used B series VM, that is why it is slow. See, FSlogix is already installed. Okay, So if you wanted to know how to install etc, those who are doesn't know, so this is just for them. Okay, I'll uninstall and I will copy again the package and I will install it. Yeah. So I already downloaded that setup somewhere here. Okay, so now it is copied. Before that, we have uninstalled, right? Let's do a reboot. Okay, so that it won't have any trace of old files, etc. Okay. Sorry, I was in mute, I believe. Yeah, we are doing a live demo. Sometimes issue may arise, so don't expect it is a very smooth session, because it is not a a recorded one or something like that. It is a pure live demo, so expect some issue if it arises. So I'm going to see, we have three setups when you download FSlogix, right? We have three setup files. For profile, we need to launch this one. Okay, so let's run as administrator, and it is very pure and simple installation and very simple group policies, which I told you. Okay, done class. So let's reboot this. Let's see, after the reboot it is appearing as available on the Azure. Guys, one more thing, Azure FSlogix is not limited to Azure. You can deploy on your on-premise with VMware, Nutanix, Frame, or any virtualization solution. Okay, so many people, they have the misconception that it can be only used in Azure or VDI. Nothing like that. You can use it anywhere. It is independent of Azure VDI. But for when it comes to Azure, you have to use this Azure FSlogix. Don't use anything else. But when it comes to your on-premise, you have the option. You can use anything. But in Azure, do not use any third party or any files or etc. So it is still rebooting, and the moment it will come up as available, we'll try to log in and we'll see everything is working as expected. Okay. Yeah, it is available now. So I'm going to log into this VM. So for that, I need to put other VM in maintenance or drain mode. Okay, because this VM is in some other OU, so it won't apply. I'll go to the client URL to access this VDA. VDA bus dot site. If everything is fine, then it will work as expected. Otherwise, we need to check why it is not working. Okay, I'm going to launch this VDA now. We'll see it is working smoothly as we expected. So it will do logging in. So by the time we will check on the portal or on the file server, that is it creating any profiles or not. Perfect. Okay. See, you may have doubt why this is taking this much time, because as I told you, right, my storage is in West US. This is like maybe some like distance is more, and my VM is in Central US. So that is the reason it is taking time. Okay, otherwise it will be very quick. That is why I told you, always plan your storage account near to your VM. Okay, do not host it in somewhere else. Just to show you the demo, I have hosted somewhere else. That is the reason. Okay, so now guys, see, if you go to C drive, this is very important. Okay, if you go to C drive, go to FSlogix apps, you have one little icon. This will help you a lot when you're doing a troubleshooting. Always put this in your taskbar or public desktop. Let's say somewhere in public desktop, so that it will be available on desktop always. So double click this, and then you can see the status. So it is saying active. Okay, so it will show you what is the total space, what is the remaining space, what is the size on disk. If you click on advanced, right, so it will tell you all the logs, like when it is loaded, what is the error, if anything is there, then everything it will record over here. Similarly for the ODFC is nothing but your Office 365 disk. Profile is nothing but your profile disk. Okay, so now I will tell you the beauty here over here. Let's go to disk management. Okay, you do not have access to disk management. Okay, I will use different user because my current logged in user doesn't have any privilege. Okay, see, beauty guys, here it is attached profile disk locally. Okay, Office 365 locally. So you have 30 GB two disk, one for profile and one for Office 365. So what are the detailed documents? Let's say I'm going to store something in the desktop test. Okay, I will do some customization. I will put this in the taskbar, and I'll put edge in the taskbar. So all this customization will get stored in the profile. Okay, so if I like all the cache data related to teams, etc., right, it will go to this Office 365. This is related to your how to configure FSlogix profile. Okay, so let's say I'm going to show you something here. So on the document, on the downloads, I'll keep some files, etc. So now, irrespective of any VMs, if you log in, right, make sure that on which you have FSlogix agent. Okay, so you have, you can get your data, everything, because it is literally it is storing in the storage repository. Okay, over here. So now those who worked on FSlogix, right, they might be seeing what is this metadata. Earlier it was not there. Now the metadata is nothing but it will show you on which VM your storage is, your container is attached. See, this is very useful for the troubleshooting. Earlier it was not there. Earlier we used to struggle, like if the user is not logging off properly, then VHD won't detach. Okay, so it will stay there itself. So now then you have to check the logs on which it is logged in, one by one you have to check, and you have to identify. Now this is very simple. If it is mounted, it will show you on which VM it is mounted. Then you can do the troubleshooting. So see, now this is ODFC on which profile is there. Sorry, Office 365 disk on which Teams cache everything, and this is the profile one. Okay, this is how you configure. So I will do one thing. I will just log off this. Okay. So the moment you log off, right, that metadata will go. Why? Because it will detach your VM from that disk. Okay. Now, if you go see your metadata, now you don't see your metadata file over here. See, it gone, because now your storage is detached, it is not connected to any VMs. Now let's say I will delete this guy. Okay, now let's log in back and we'll see, do we see any issue, did we lost any data or anything like that. Okay, because some may have a question, if I delete that, my data might get corrupted or nothing like that, guys. Office 365, you can close your eyes and you can delete it. Okay, because everything will be it will get pulled from the cloud again. So now I'm going to log in again. So if everything is fine, it will take me to the profile, and I should have my data, everything is ready there. Okay, if I go to my storage, see Office 365 disk, it is created again. So let's wait for the desktop to come. Don't blame me for this, because this is hosted in some other file server which is in West US. So that is why the delay. Okay, see guys, let's open this and we'll see the status first. As you see, status is active and everything is fine, and user data is there, customized data is there, everything is there. Okay, so this is the beauty of FSlogix. Okay, so